So I have 3 different beams here that I'm working on, and I've decided to build a jig just so I can do more beams in the future. And the jig will be set up so I can actually do -2, stock, +2, +4, and +6. And in theory, should hold it all together right where it needs to be. It's warm, but not hot. I love that plasma cutter. All right, everybody, the jig is complete. I do have both of those Brazilian beam halves in there, and it's gonna work out great for what I'm doing. In this case, normally you wouldn't need a jig, so to speak, because when you do adjusters, you do the top one or the bottom one. You do one first, so the beam is still together. In this case, the adjusters had snapped off, so the beam was in 2 pieces, basically. So anyway, that's kind of why we had to do this. Or if you're widening a beam, yes, you're going to need to cut the beam in half, spread it apart. But this jig will take care of that. So this is the jig. It is set up. This would be -2 if you wanted to narrow a beam 2 inches. Stock width, +2, +4, +6. I don't know, I like it. I'll show it to you here in a second, hang on. Well, here it is. It doesn't look like much. Just 2 pieces of angle I had laying around. Actually, it was 1 piece, we cut that. A piece of 1/4 inch flat plate that I had left over from a job that I had done quite some time ago. And I mean, I already showed you the bolt hole pattern, so that's kind of self-explanatory, I think. And it stands up right well. I'm kind of wishing I had something. Maybe I should put some legs on it so I could drop it that way. So it'll stay this way or this way. This way is nice, but the beam tends to drop down and not back. I can set it up, set the beam in there, and it'll kind of self-center itself. And then once it's tight, once it's bolted down, then I could drop it. So I don't know, but that's it. Like I said, I didn't video any of this. It wasn't really, I didn't think it was very complicated, but I had no idea how I was going to do it. Yeah, I was winging it. I really was. Let's get on with the whole project here. No worries about it falling off the table with only half of it on there. Maybe if I was doing a +6, might be an issue, but pretty good. I do just need to tighten these down though. I'm still on the fence. I don't know if I should make this beam, you know, ±2 as far as your ride height. Do I center the adjuster? Do I make it a full 4-inch drop or a full 4-inch raise? I don't know. I'm on the fence right now. I gotta think about this. Well, it's settled. We're going to go midway. I don't have a buyer for this beam, so I'm not building it for me. I mean, if I was building it for me, I'd raise it. But so now that we've got our beam bolted in place, I do not have anything in there right now. They're just sitting there. Probably shouldn't while I'm banging on it. So we'll take those out for now. Right now we're going to grease the bearings. This is what I use here. Valvoline high-speed multi-vehicle. It works pretty good. It's what I use on Mud Cricket. It's what I've used for, well, I can't even tell you how long now. And it seems to hold up. I've never had any wheel bearing issues from grease failure. I've had a few because of my own stupidity in my younger days, but we're going to pack these. So one of the things I have to show you is I have to run these backwards because the outside edge, how do I explain it? They don't quite sit all the way down, but on the back side, coincidentally, this is the exact same size as the bearing. So I could very lightly, and I do mean lightly, you don't need to beat them in. And you'll hear them when they hit bottom, that the banging gets a little bit lighter. Well, I can get this one flush. This one, I gotta change them because the top one is smaller than the bottom. And again, you have to run them upside down. Unless you have one that fits perfect, which I don't. So this is what we're gonna run with. And again, very lightly. You heard it? I hope. So those bearings are in place. I'm not going to bore you with the other side. Now, I'll be honest, this is the first set of adjusters I've ever done. I've welded many beams before, but I've never installed a set of adjusters. We're going to get a zip tie. Zip ties are great. They do slide on the... I've used electrical tape many times on a greased unit. It's not bad at all. I don't know where my dikes are. So, looks like we're using this thing. All right, so make sure those are flat. We're just gonna smear. We'll give it a smear coat just to make sure everything is moving properly and protected. Here we go. Nice and squishy. Just the way I like it. All right. This glove's coming off. All right, so it would help if I could see what I'm doing, right? All right, so grub screw is there. That's there. This may take a while. I'm not gonna lie. Grub screw. Look at that. Ladies and gentlemen, now we just hit the zip tie. All you gotta do is tap it. Get it to keep on keeping on. I've got these marked here at full adjustment. So right now, this is stock. If this was set up and to adjust it, you'd back this off and this piece would slide back with it, which would lower the car. Total, supposedly 4 inches. I don't see it, but maybe. So one of the things that I just found out, I do need 30,000 shims. I actually didn't just find that out, but I do need 30,000 shims behind this and in front of it, or I'm sorry, below it and behind it, because the adjusters are 60 thousandths difference from the outside to the outside of this. If we split that in half, it's 30 thousandths. So I need a 30 thousandths shim on the bottom, 30 thousandths shim on the top, and that will hold it out center of the beam. So the issue I'm having is, I don't know if you can see it, but you can see that rotating. I need to find a set of trailing arms to install before I weld this. And it'll make me feel a lot better. And I'm almost positive that if the trailing arms are there, it's holding everything centered. And I don't have to worry about a little bit of deviation going on. And if there is any deviation, it'll be minimized by the trailing arms. So until then, I'm dead in the water. So we did manage to find a set of trailing arms. It took a little while, but we got them cleaned up, sandblasted, painted, and now installed. So I've already taken the liberty of centering the beam. It is kind of off center as far as the adjusters go. The adjusters are going to be center, but I've got a bit larger gap on one side than I do on the other. Not a big deal. I just use 1/8 inch wire on one side and 3/32 on the other. So I am going to use the MIG welder to tack these in place because I want to get them tacked as fast as I can. If I TIG welded them, it would take me a little bit longer, and I'm afraid of, warpage, because when you tack something, as that tack shrinks, it pulls on, so as that tack shrinks, let's say we were tacking this in place, you put a tack on the top, as it shrinks, it's going to pull up. So I need to get the tacks done as fast as possible. And we're going to tack it in with the MIG welder, and we're going to finish it off with the TIG welder. And as I'm sure you guys have heard, we did have a nice earthquake here the other day. Matter of fact, there was a tremor about 30 minutes ago. So hopefully stuff don't start falling off the walls. We'll see. Oh, really? We are experiencing technical difficulties. Man, if you don't have a flex MIG, I mean, this thing is the bomb. I love it. Well, here goes nothing, guys. Now to get this unbolted, flipped over, tack the backside, and then we get her prepped up for welding on the TIG. All right, so this is what we've got. I know that seems like a big gap, but it's not that hard to fill if you're doing it right. So that's another reason I'm using the TIG welder. I could do it with the MIG. I feel more confident with the TIG. But those are our tacks. Those are holding everything in place. And I'm gonna get started TIGging. Well, I had some issues recording. I don't know if my phone was too close to the welders. The high frequency was screwing it up, but it didn't record a damn thing other than like snow. But anyway, there it is. A little hotter than I'd like it, but I had to crank the heat up a little bit. It was kind of taking a little bit too long, and I couldn't go as fast as I wanted to. So at any rate, that's it. As soon as it cools off, we're going to get everything all loosened up and make sure everything still adjusts. Then we're going to get some paint on it. All right, she's cooled off. We've got full adjustment on both, no issues. We already pulled the Zerks, get some screws in there. So when we squirt this, we're going to primer the whole thing first, get this cured, and then I don't know what color we're going, I guess black, but we're going to get it squirted.